Now today, teaching Tantrayana. So Tantrayana, and I think, and Mahayana in general, and particularly Tantrayana, since ancient time, it remained a little bit controversial. Firstly, before Nagarjuna come, they already certain sort of view Mahayana or this sutra, like Panchaparamita Sutra, didn't taught by Buddha. So Nagarjuna and Ranamala, you see, he emphasizes this is authentic Buddhist teaching. Some reasons mentioned. Then Maitreya Bodhisattva, also you see, actually, Kasa Dotien
Sutra Alankara.
Ka
Sutra.
Sutra Alankara, one chapter, I think the second chapter, actually, you see, explain the Panchaparamita Sutra is authentic Buddhist teaching. And then Pavibhiga, the talk about
Tarka
Tarka
Jwala.
Tarka.
Tarka Tong Satribe. Gol Tarka Tess. The Pavibhiga, really great scholar. Although his view about Shunyata criticized by some other Madhyamika philosopher, it is quite true. So in any way, so in his writing, you see, he's very detailed, explain it is authentic Buddhist teaching. Then Shandadeva also, you see, argued that. So it shows, before Nagarjuna come, already some kind of different views or controversial. For example, so one reason in Vinaya, Bhikshu is the highest sort of kasutta. And
Order.
Ka.
Highest order.
No. So monk is a very, very sort of kasutta. No.
Revered highly. Revered highly.
Revered. Then Bodhisattva Yana, the lay Bodhisattvas and the female Bodhisattvas. Bodhisattva vow, also no differences. Sex, right? No, like that. And then also you see Dharmakaya or Sambhogakaya. You see these things, you see, just mental sort of projection, not reality. That kind of sort of argument. So it's detailed explain and detailed response, right?
Response.
Or explain all these things. Then Tantrayana. Of course, there are common practice in the Hindu Tantrayana, Hindu Tantra, mantra, or Buddhist mantra. Then, so therefore, see, now these are a controversial thing, even today in Taiwan and also in China. You see, some people sort of emphasis Mahayana is not true teaching of Buddha. And some cases, I think those countries will follow the Pali tradition. Also, sometimes a little bit Kasuta, skeptical, like that. Then Tantrayana. Although Tantrayana, you see, flourished in China and Japan, and also I think Korea. Vietnam, I'm not very sure. I think the Tantrayana may be there. So in Japan, I know the Triya Tantra or Upatantra, Yoga Tantra. These common in Japan. Of course, it's in Japanese Buddhist tradition, there's Zen, and then the Mikyo Tantrayana. So in these Buddhist countries, it seems they follow separately. Zen, separate. Mikyo, Tantrayana, separate. In Tibet case, Vinaya practice is the basis. Then the Bodhisattva yana, mainly the training of altruism and 6 parameters simultaneously. On top of that, the tantric practice also include. So one person simultaneously practice all 3 karuda yana, like that. Now the Tantrayana. You see, still now I think one occasion in America, one scholar, you see, we just used to talk, casual talk. And I mentioned Nagarjuna, among Nagarjuna's writing, Dokunativa.
Sutra Samuchaya.
No, I mentioned that. Then that scholar say, no, that did not wrote by Nagarjuna, because some of the sutras which mentioned there is come later, not Nagarjuna's time. Then I respond the Abhayakara. Abhayakara means consent. Abhayakara. Abhayakara. Great scholar. You see, he wrote a commentary about the Nagarjuna's Kasati.
The Sutra Samuchaya.
Oh. So he didn't sort of express doubt whether this is Nagarjuna's word or work or not. So that scholar didn't see that. Then he remained quiet. And there is some occasion in Delhi, one sort of conference about the authenticity of Mahayana. Then I mentioned, I really feel, as far as Buddha Dharma is concerned, I think Indian should know better than Western scholars. Number one. Then Nagarjuna and those great sort of scholars which I mentioned their name, these are Indians. And then the time, Nagarjuna only after 400 years after Buddha. Compare nowadays, you see, over 2,000 years, 2,500 years. So the time also, you see, near to Buddha, closer to Buddha. Then Nagarjuna, like Nagarjuna, as I mentioned yesterday, they never accept easily. Even Buddha's own words, they carry thorough investigation and very scientific minded. Nagarjuna, not kind of great sort of saint, a little bit dull, not that way. 말왜 지금 나보고 국 썼는데 말봐. This one. So therefore, if the Panchaparamita Sutra, not the Buddha's own word, then Nagarjuna, these, I think, must raise questions. So therefore, this is one thing. Then more important, the Pali Sutra, only through Pali Sutra. Of course, Four Noble Truths mentioned. The anathema theory also mentioned. But not much detailed sort of reasons or explanation. Other hand, they like the Dignak or Dharmakirti in their writing. See, they explain Four Noble Truths through reasoning. And the concept of anathema, see, they such sort of wonderful, detailed explanation, something really convincing available in these great Sanskrit scholars' writing, like Nagarjuna. About concept of Four Noble Truths and also the Kasajuti, anathema, shunyata theory, like that. Then another thing, this is about Mahayana Sutrayana. Now the Tantrayana. In Pali tradition, like Bosubandhus, Karachavuti, Abhidhamma Kosha Karika. Or that root text, I mean that text also I learned by heart. So, although I learned or memorized, but the third chapter of that text, now I rejecting. About Mount Meru, flat world. As a Buddhist, you see, we cannot accept that. It goes against our
It goes against our direct perception.
No. So as a result of my sort of contact with scientists or some knowledge about the modern science about cosmology, cosmology, these things, then the number one casualty is now no longer accept the Mount Meru. Not serious. Okay, whether there's Mount Meru or not, Four Noble Truths is very authentic. And Shunyata, very authentic. The Mount Meru doesn't matter. And then, more important, Samanamjanaliya, Kakpa Jevekuduriya, Kakta Ko Yudusane, any Nangrum Mabibasachi. Any Nangrum Mabibanalolia, Kare, and the Bena, ya, Gadana Dio, Ranshin Gami, Jung Gami, Devu Gami Sande, Yava, Manguyata. Chazanga, that the Ninde Tse, Ninde Teme, the Mumbeshung Sungshivatida, the Kazangan, the changing time, must atone that the Gauchimutua. The Gaumikum. And Rirab Timna di Nazu Long Jego. Timna Kane Yongs, Rirab di Nazu Tungwa Maris, any cancer. Rirab Yana, Nandu Rumba. Nandu Rumba, Mena Digi, and Narum with Tata Judo. And Chishan, Pena Casing and the Chiribu Jum the Kurdistan, Narum Mami, but she gathered because she was good. And the association in a car then, Tankumarba. Marbella, Roya, Marbella. Just a Shinlu Kai to Sane, and that gather big with China, Kaya check. No room will be China Kai to Sane. The association in Alolia, no room will be but she you could do a good Jurma, but the Kanashima. And in Yene, Shingo Tempe, Shungde, any Murchi Mushu Gabas cooked. So that Regunamsha, Mamba Sung Shavada, any Kaza Tungon Sung Shavada. Young Dosha the Shabbat Dene, Lala, Penazamuli, Lala, Dumbo, Lala, Tushi, Sen, Dramata Sungtu. So did he use that? Tamabalia, Shingo Chadigari, just Rakazan Hanzu Davolia, Shingo Chadigari. Did he make the Senate? That is it, Shingo Tempe Shungdi, Mushu Mushu, Gammas Kuyari. And she needed the Lungdalia issue. Just Chigler, Medal soon do that day in it. Casolpugay, Tasum Shilin. So the day is an answer. Rangshun Rangta, so the Nalende, Chigpigay, taxation and drag, look dish and see you do, Zero Calia Coxarish.
So, in the Pramana Vartika text by Master Dharmakirti, it mentions different kinds of logic. Some of these logics are known as negations. Logics, I mean, where you use negation, negative terms. So, first of all, we can talk about the reasonings which are proving something from a positive side, and then there are other reasonings which are proving something by using negative reasonings. And so within the negative reasonings, where there are different kinds of negative reasonings, one of them is what is called a reasoning, which whereby you say that if something is observable, then it must call on, and if it is not seen, then you cannot actually contradict what is called observable by just saying that it's not called seen. And so in this way, for example,
I think one example. Now here, this is someone due to defect eye. If you see something huge black here, then may say, oh, there's one elephant. Then we argue, if elephant there, we should see. But since we cannot see, therefore, absence of elephant is exist. No elephant. So that's the katayanda.
No. So that's one type of negative reasoning. And so it's called something observable, but not called which is not seen. And so you use that reasoning. For example, now in the case of Abhidharma Kosha, called
then I think another, like you see, from a little bit distance, it's one room. You see, outside very cold, so the person feel very cold. But in that room, we can see big fire. Then the person, one person say, oh, that room also must be very cold. Then another person say, no, because there is fire.
No.
Fire Fire gives heat, warm. So therefore, coldness and hot cannot go together longer period. Therefore, you see, the opposite of coldness, fire there, hot there. So therefore, this is the
And so here, when somebody says this, that there is coldness in that room, but then the other person says that this can't be true because there's fire there. What you are trying to show is the antithesis to coldness. So when the antithesis to coldness is proved, then you can reject or refute the coldness in that room. So in this way, you are showing the contrast or contradictory reasonings to prove that there is fire there or warmth there. And similarly, now in the case of the size of the moon and sun, and then the height of the moon and sun from the earth, and so forth, that are mentioned in Abhidharmakosha. When we today, from the scientific point of view, these are observable. The sun and the size of the sun and the moon and the height from the earth and so forth are something which can be proved through measurements and so forth. And therefore, what is mentioned in Abhidharmakosha, in the case of Mount Meru and so forth, cannot be accepted. The size of the moon and the sun, and then the height from the earth, cannot be accepted as it is explained in the Abhidharmakosha. And similarly, with regard to Mount Meru, it is said that the shadow of Mount Meru is what we experience. But then, if that is the case, how come that the source of that shadow, the Mount Meru, cannot be seen by us? And so, therefore, we can say that if Mount Meru is, of course, said to be something physical, right? And therefore, it should be observable to our perception. Therefore, if it is something which should be observable, but that is not seen by us, then we cannot go against our perceptions. And so in this way we can reject the existence of Mount Meru as well as explained in the Abhidharmakosha. And so what we are trying to say is that while in our texts there are lots of refutation of the views of non-Buddhist traditions, the atheist assertions and so forth, how can we contradict ourselves in our own system by accepting these kinds of things?
For example, now the reason to oppose existence of Atma is the Katha.
Yes. So when we use reasoning to reject or refute the existence of an Atma, we are using a negative reasoning that contrasts or contradicts.
So I think now too long. I think too long. Okay. Now, so my point is, those Nalandas, the Sanskrit scholar, you see, their writing is really immense help. You see, to get clearer sort of understanding or understanding about concept of Four Noble Truth or anathema theory, and through that way, even you see the possibility of final destination, Buddhahood. Thinking, there is reasoning, then you feel, something very possible. Otherwise, Buddhahood, okay, wonderful. Which is the basis of Buddha? Which is the ultimate source of Buddha? Here. Now here, the Tantrayana, now you see involved. The mind, grosser level of mind, more subtle level, deepest subtle mind. So the ultimate source of Buddhahood is that very, very subtle mind. So that's by nature pure. All destructive emotion on the level of the Kasachuti, grosser level of emotion, grosser level of mind, not subtle level. So the subtle level of mind never Kasachuti.
It can never be tainted.
However, you see, that can develop wisdom. That can be Shirul Tuttachi.
Yes, but it can become a wisdom.
Because you see, the wisdom is based on reality. Ignorance, no base. So therefore, so long it is mind, then thinking. You see, the understanding about thing, you see, can increase. So this most subtle level consciousness also can develop as wisdom. So that's the ultimate sort of the force to eliminate the shijitva.
Eliminate the obscuration to knowledge or cognitive obscuration. Yes. But the negative emotions, the destructive emotions, can be overcome through some kind of a coarser level of our mind and wisdom. And so the negative emotions can be overcome by the antidote that we develop, and which is a grosser level of mind. And whereas the residual stains or the latent potencies that are left by these negative emotions, called the cognitive obscurations, can only be overcome by or through this very subtlest level of wisdom, understanding emptiness. And
that's clearly mentioned. The Nagarjuna's one of main disciples, the Nakabuddhi. See, very sort of convincingly explain these things. So now the possibility of existence of the all-knowing and the possibility to achieve that, finally, you see, we need the Maha-Anuttara Yoga Tantrayana's explanation. Otherwise, it remains quite vague. In Sutrayana, 4 kayas mentioned: Dharmakaya, Dhyanakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya. But the source, continuation of the source of the Kasajuti,
the substantial cause.
Substantial cause. Of course, Dharmakaya, you see, no cause. But the Dhyanakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya, you see, a kind of phenomena which momentarily changing. So there must be cause, substantial cause. So the substantial cause, in Sutrayana, although certain things is mentioned, but not very convincing. So now Maha-Anuttara Yoga Tantrayana sort of explanation really brings conviction. Well, like that. 저상에 너무 드셔야 되고요. 초고 주고 잡아주는 자에게 초고 주고 뒤 이집해야지 야구 시험 발라 구시남샤드 시고도 다디 어비사마야 알랑가르 나라래 구시남샤 송셔드체 다 된저기 구시남샤디 시절 용 시버지다 랑기 규딩을 룩 시버지다 영야기 좀전디 아니 nga 라면에 뉴물 현지기 왜세 아니 가서다 류가 있으면 신도 차와지셔야 돼도가 어다 뒤때네 아니 고야지 도가 뒤때네 잖아 아니 뭐냐 전에 그때 이번에 되었으셔 류가 있으면 락자 신도 차스 류가 있으면 락과 류가 있으면 차 류가 있으면 신도 차.
And so I usually say that in order to feel convinced about the supreme Nirmanakaya, as it's called, we should understand the 4 kayas, the presentation of the 4 kayas, an explanation of it convincingly, so that we gain certainty about them. And this is actually explained in the Abhisamaya Alamkara by Maitreya. And then, in order to see the possibility that, in general, that there is a possibility of attaining the four kayas, and especially in order to see that it is a possibility for oneself to attain the four kayas, we need to go into the highest Yoga Tantra explanation of the innate called clear light mind or luminosity, and on the basis of which is explained the subtle and the body, speech, and mind. And of course, within the body, speech, and mind, there are the coarser levels as well as subtler, and then the subtlest levels as well. So we should understand these on the basis of the highest Yoga Tantra.
So you see, thinking these matter, these things, then you get the clearer picture about the whole Buddhist structure, system. Then you see that get you conviction. A conviction brings enthusiasm and effort. Otherwise, you see, these concepts remain shallow. Shallow. Then not much room, logic, only faith. Faith. So therefore, you see, to me, you see, these are the kasoda, real factor. Firstly, the kasoda, Paramita Sutra is authentic. Then Tantrayana also authentic. Otherwise, you see, we have to say Nagarjuna and these great sort of masters or follower of Buddha, they are more intelligent than Buddha. I think it's difficult to say, isn't it? Buddha's own word, about 100 volumes, which translated into Tibetan. The commentary, like Nagarjuna or these great sort of scholars or Nalanda, about 200 volumes. So altogether, so our text, 300 volumes. Except I think 15, 20 volumes translated from Chinese. Otherwise, all 300 volumes translated from India. So now my Guruji, now forget these things. So therefore, usually I telling you, see, I expressing, we are not only chela of Indian Guru, but also quite trusted, reliable chela. Isn't it? Over 1,000 years, we kept all these, not just on altar. Study, read. So now, our Guru, you see, even so academic, as an academic subject, I think these logics or these complicated philosophical views, these are take as the sort of academic subject, worthwhile to study. I think some of these Indian universities, I think should start some class, not as a religion, not as a Buddhism, simply now logic, the Dharmakirti, Dignak, and the Shandarakshita, they sort of face sort of the serious sort of challenge from non-Buddhist sort of logicians. So it is an academic subject, isn't it? So I think in secular education field, these I think are very fit. We should treat as a sort of academic subject, not a religious subject. Clear? So now that's the now here, the mantra so means mana yi.
Mana means mind.
Tarya mantra tra top job.
No, tra has the meaning of protection.
Protection mare.
No, it's to
job.
To save.
Jobji mata.
No.
Jobji mata. Job.
To save. To protect.
To save sigwe.
No.
I don't know. Now English language is difficult now. Hindi consider kure. Hindi consider kure.
Trana. Mantra. Man means man.
Jao chons.
Tra means trana.
Ka.
Trana.
No.
No.
So the meaning, you see, for example, the basis, I think, firstly, basis is understanding shunya. So, you see, the mind which understands shunya, you see, because of projector, right? Projector, I don't know. Because of save from illusion, right? From ignorance. That then second level, now related with subtle mind. So in order to actualize the subtle mind, the grosser level of mind should stop, should cease. At the time of death, automatically cease. That's not much use. At that time, you see, everything finished. And mainly, you see, the nasal process of the clear light at the time of death is but
Yes. So when this clear light experience happens to us at the time of death, naturally, then what happens is we are more or less unconscious about it.
Mm-hmm. So what we need, the actualize the deepest subtle mind deliberately through yoga practice, through practice, so that the mind, the subtle mind, the very subtle level mind actualize, but at the same time alertness. So then you see that mind meditate shunyata. So for that reason, the tamebe nangshin job set shigota. Tamebe nawa the shampaji the lora bagam to the jidan.
And so for that reason, the meaning here of the traya has the connotation of saving us from the perception of ordinary perception and ordinary clinging.
So the Maha Yoga Tantriyana, you see, the main sort of special sort of thing is, you see, try to actualize this subtle, innermost subtle level consciousness. For that, the grosser level of mind
Must dissolve. Must dissolve.
It's a dissolve. So in order to explain about Tantriyana, and also I think in order to get the fuller picture about Tantriyana, I feel we must explain about Maha Yoga Tantriyana system. This is the meaning like this. Now the practice, we have to sort of step by step. That's firstly Triya Tantriyana and Upa Tantriyana, Yoga Tantriyana, then Ma Yoga Anuttara Tantrayana. So now this is Triya Tantra. Perhaps I think the subject which actually need, as Gasoda, the explanation of the certain subject which need months. Now is it trying to Gasoda? Short period or difficult. However, let me do it. Nagarjuna wrote Sangdu Rimba.
Yes. He wrote the 5 stages of the Panchakrama of Guhya Samaja Tantra.
That the Devati Aryan Deva Juju Jayari.
And commentary to that was written by Master Arya Deva, and the commentary is Charya Sangra.
That digi Devai, Din Devai, that did the subject sing to Zugi, then Deva Chani, Chandakidi. Any Transe Jayari.
And then, as a commentary to these two texts, as well as the Guhya Samaja root Tantra itself, Master Chandrakirti wrote his clear lamp. Pratibudyodan.
Here I have one story. Now many years ago, the great Sanskrit scholar and professor of Sanskrit University, Varanasi, Professor Ubadeva, now no longer. He once told me he carries some research about Kala Chakra Tantra.
Vimala Prabha. It's Vimala Prabha.
So he carries some research work. So for that reason, he visited Nepal few occasions. So one time, you see, he found one text. When he explained that meaning of that text is the Tirisha. Simjitivjung. Aryan Deva Simjitivjung.
And so he found the text which was written by Aryadeva, and the text is called The Purification of the Mental Stains or Defilements.
Is one text about Tantrayana. It available in Tibetan translation in Tenjur, 200 volumes, including that. I think Aryadeva was writing the 400 verses, and then also this Guhya Samansa thing, and then this also, and then some other there. So he saw on palm leaf, you see, just one page, you see, he saw the style of the Sanskrit writing way, the style Sanskrit. He found 100% same of that style, which 400 verses. The 400 verses, no question, everybody except wrote by Aryandeva. So after he saw that, then he accepted, then he
Felt convinced. He was convinced.
He convinced Aryandeva, one practitioner of Tantrayana. So that text about Tantrayana. So the style of the Sanskrit is, he as a scholar, he found 100% sure the same author of 400 verses. So like that. So, so then, did the midage. Gender kiddies and the sung to transact Ude Disondoa. Sanga Guni Rubruchi, gave a rimba tambuin. Similar Mibo Samshini, Ribaniba Shejudo. Guzo Tamba Tambani, Yung Rimba Subo. Guzo Tamba Tagwani, Rimba Shiba Shejudo. Deni Jawa Kanyaba, Sungju Checha Nabates. Deni Drube Yana Cho, Yugunchini turned to a wall. That digi Rimbanga chair, the Girim Bachikisha, Girim Bachikche. Sanga Kuni Ruchi, Giver Batam said, Girim chair. Then a Zorim Bashiche. Somebody was something that Ribani Bashid. Or that's somebody was said, Digi, that Dishebo. You must said the shame. This Shilla Shabatola, and Ribosumba Gulu, Ribosmus named that Ribosumba Gulu, Riboshiba Tunju say, Diting in Sunju did shame. Chanam ju Zoxing Shungi, Seven get a simple tower. So Yamni did it. Could you charge some boys? So the did it. You must say, charge some Sunshine, the Digan to water. Bear Sajabe, Lamje, Kunshi Jujusundu, Tagagan to take it. That did those Shimju do Chavina, or the Sagakoni. Chona, some alone. You will see the sandwich of starfish.
And so, in this, in the beginning of Master Chandrakirti's commentary on Guhyasamaja Tantra and then other texts by Nagarjuna and Master Aryadeva, which is the clear lamp or the bright lamp, he mentions the 5 stages within the Guhyasamaja Tantra. And the first stage is the generation stage practice. And then he mentions the completion stage practice, within which he includes the 4 stages. And so the first stage within this completion stage he mentions is he says called just observing the mind. And so here called observation of the mind is related to clear light. So meditation,
in the most subtle consciousness.
And so called related to practice and actualizing this clear light. And then
actually Dzogchen, Mahamudra, and also the Sakya, all emphasis that practice.
And so on the basis of this experience of the clear light, then what you go forth is actualizing the illusory body, which is considered as the second stage within of the 4 stages
like
of the completion stage
body,
by him.
Dream body, but you see, can separate from this body and go whatever you want, can go. So some Lama, one Lama, Changjö Rebbe Dorji, I think because Dhirokudure, Gyagyasankudur, 18th century, 18th century, I think. Later, his eye become difficult. So he cannot read. So he used the technique, dream time, he as a separate dream body, he have that ability. So dream body, and then dream body read. So for that, I don't know what is the reason. You see, like, we'll say, like this, I don't know. You see, his dream body, you see, cannot go inside. So the page must sort of tamche.
So all the pages must be, opened.
Oh, then during sleep time, his dream body, you see, read, and the next day he tell everything. Then also you see more subtle sort of consciousness. It becomes more active. Then the ability to see other person.
Now, then you can develop clairvoyance and knowing others people's minds.
There are two different ways. Abhidhamma Karika and the Sutrayana, you see one way, namne, shendu turn the turn the lotte, and so shine yosche, and namne turn mashitukutua. And the lame kadula, nume vese, want to change the name, mashili.
And so, according to the Sutrayana called technique of developing this clairvoyance, what you need is, first of all, this shamatha, single-pointed concentration. You must have that. And on the basis of that, then you, when you want to know about something, you just have to think about the object. And then, through the power of your the single-pointed concentration, the thing just appears to your mind. And so, in this way, you develop clairvoyance about those
According
things.
to Sutrayana.
No, Sutrayana.
Tantrayana,
No. And so this is according to Sutrayana. And then, according to Tantrayana, what you do is you try to actualize or make the clear light nature of the mind manifest within yourself, and then through that you can develop clairvoyance.
So again, the Changja Rebbe Dorji, the same time, another great practitioner, Tokul Muche, Tokul Tempe Jenza, I think, Tokul Tempe Jenza. So at that time, it is quite well known, Tokul Tempe Jenza have this sort of the power of Kasuta.
Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance. No.
So then Changja Rebbe Dorji asked him, you have that ability. Then he asked, what is in my pocket? He asked. Then the Tokul Tempe Jenze meditate a short while, and then mentioned, in your pocket, one rosary there. And he detailed explained what kind of rosary, the size and color, everything. Then Changja Rebbe Dorji asked him, how you use that?
How are you able to know
you see these things? And then he mentioned, again, you see, this is something I think that each individual started tigli chava yosari, zolung chavachi yosari. So he mentioned, whenever you see he concentrate the thing which he want to know, then firstly, one bell appear. Then the thing which the person is want to know, then appears. So this is no sort of detailed explanation in this sort of text, but it happened like that. So strange. Then I think another sort of story, funny story. One American, I think in early 1960s, he he followed the Indian tradition, Indian sort of the Dharma, including Buddha Dharma. One occasion, he claimed, he told me, he had the ability to know the other's mind. Then, my mind, scientific minded. So therefore, then I set up one thought, and then asked him, now what thing in my mind? And he mentioned something totally wrong. So now, we're going to start now this Kasa. So now the Triya Tantra, Triya Upa Yoga, the three Tantra not involve the practice of subtle mind. but make some kind of preparation. So now here, 저주다 소국 공야지 찬제가는 좋지. 다때네 매네 자네 자타 탈바데베 삼den신 삼den 숨셴니 자타 탈바데베 삼den 자타 탈바데베 삼den 디 아니 조림 무서지. 이 재미있는 좋지. 다디 규리시가로도 주고. 다 규리시가서 다 규리 엄마서부터 되시기도. 다 디기 조 안데 이게 nga lami ki kirim da zorim ki da mangshi ting.
And so in the Kriya Tantra, there are two main yogas. One is called the yoga with signs. So within this, you have the meditation on a deity's body. And so there is the yoga of deity's body, and then there's the yoga of meditating on fire, and then the sound, and then also the called attainment or achieving the liberation at the end of the sound, or something like that. And so that's particularly the last one refers is called resemblance of. It's like the completion stage practice of the highest yoga tantra, and so here what you come to is the yoga without signs. And so the fourth one refers to that. And so in other words, now when you do this Kriya Yoga Tantra, both called yogas with signs and without signs, what you're doing is you're laying a foundation for entering into the highest yoga tantra experiences.
Oh yeah. That's enough. Perhaps at the beginning, I would like to we all together recite Teata Gade Gade Para Gade Para Samgade Buddhi Sa Teata Gade Gade Para Gade Para Samgade Buddhi Sa Teata Gade Gade Para Gade Para Samgade Buddhi Sa Teata Gade Gade Para Gade Para Samgade Buddhi Sa Teata Gade Gade Para Gade Para Samgade Buddhi Sa. The meaning already explained. So now the purpose of recite this is now Kasoda think about our destination, step by step. Finally, Buddhis are Buddhahood. Our Buddha nature, so long consciousness there, Buddha nature there. I think those theistic religion, since all created by God, so some kind of spark, right? No, spark of God must be there. So Buddhists say Buddha seed. So now that Kasoda was step by step into Siata Kokasore. Yeah. Kasoda liberty sand. And Tamati Kushitani Sanchishati.
So the potential that we have.
Tamadini Janakaya Sachati.
So the potential for Buddhahood that we have must be actualized so that you can actually use it to progress further and further and finally reach the end, the final goal of Janakaya.
뭐야? 다? 그렇죠. go sabajane ge ju ke no labor ju te me sa na mo sa na ju ba ba na ba ye ma de ke ji te ma chabra de du sung gu ye du sung gu ye la zong je ga da ba da ba ji ba da de ke ne ma no jim de du sung gu ye wang ji wang zo ma je ba la ba da ju ba ke ji ka ye ba da ba da ba na no de mo do ye de ma go sabajane ge ju su ba ni su bo hong ya su ba ni su bo hong ya su ba ni su bo hong ya ज्ञान भय मन मन सुबह ज्ञान 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 भय ज्ञान मन भय सुबह सुबह ज्ञान 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 भय ज्ञान ओमान भंग भय बिया रान जो बे त्यां तो जो गाला हो जो जे दे जो रो को नम दा जे ओम बे रा जा 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 ओम बे ra cha da the 직전하리야 링실링 대시 쉐기야리 에고 링들은 야마리 링샹의 샤바는 예시 저다가다 가이면 저다닝부디 에네 랑그 류롱주 에네 조시슈 계자 디드 그게 최자리야 다 가서 그게 딱 드베 쳐봐라 쌈네 에네 메르피야리
So we're going to make a mandala offering in request for to request for the initiation, and therefore here when you say the mandala offering, what you are saying is this ground anointed by perfume strewn with flowers and adorned with Mount Meru and 4 continents and the sun and the moon. I visualize it as a Buddha field and offer it up to you. May all transmigratory beings enjoy this pure land. And so here, when you make this mandala offering, you are actually mentioning that you're offering Mount Meru, the 4 continents, and so forth. And so, of course, as I explained already, Mount Meru as such is not on this in this world at least. We cannot say where it is. It may be in some other worlds, but in any case, what we need to visualize or think about is making offering of one's merits, one's body, speech, and mind, the merits one has accumulated, as well as the resources that we have in the world, and imagine them and then offer it up to the Guru in request for the teaching.
Mm-hmm. When I first mentioned, I do not believe the Mount Meru, existence of Mount Meru. Some senior Tibetan monk, a little bit uncomfortable. Now I think they get used to it.
No.
Conversation.
No.
And also, you see, I think at least 10 years ago, we started to learn science and selected monk to get science lesson. So at that time, some senior monk, little bit sort of skeptical. some reservation. Then eventually, now they all, you see, fully support. So about 2 years ago, 당연히 formally 쭉쭉 나눠서 science solution.
So the monastic institutions have formally decided to include science as one of the subjects that the monks would sit for exam.
Recently, actually last year, in Ladakh, some group of Muslims from some Arab Muslim countries, they came and we just talk. And then one asked me one question: religion and science, they find little sort of difficult come together.
Contradictory. Contradictory. Contradictory.
Some difficulties. Then I told, no, should not. Religion, faith, compassion, or love, like that, and forgiveness, these things. This is the religion. This is related with mind. Science related with matter. So two different fields. No contradiction. And science, difficult to prove existence of God. And equally, difficult to prove does not exist God. It's beyond. So no problem. Simply two different fields. So then Buddhism is something different, little different. You see, they use reasons and disprove, create. So more dangerous. So now here in this room, you see, there must be some people, you see, following Christianity or Hindus, or different sort of tradition, maybe some follower of Islam. So now our common practice is, you see, love, compassion, forgiveness, these things. As I mentioned the other day, is you don't think about the shunyata, emptiness. So now here, God is only. So here is the main thing is the 전쇼도 심기하다. 아니 심정이 된치기 신이 캔리 담치셔야 돼.
So the main thing is to generate bodhicitta, the supreme mind of bodhicitta, and also to make a pledge and that you will serve other sentient beings.
Mm-hmm. This is common. All major tradition. It's a common practice, right? So you can sort of cultivate, or you can make your mind more altruistic. Now on, I never harm other people, other sentient being. I am going to fulfill the wish of God or Allah, or like that. So there's no problem. And then, as a Bodhisattva vow, we pledge, pledge, or yes, or tamchishawa.
Not really, pledge.
Pledge. Now on, if possible, I serve other people, help other people, if not, at least restrain harming other. I never indulge harmful action. only positive actions. So some kind of bridge. So this also is common for everybody. Okay. So that's enough. Now, if possible, those people who consider oneself as a Buddhist, then, yeah, so sure.
No.
Ka. Ale, mente dunjure.
No.
Ore, saji, beji, juje,
This
medal,
is the mandala offering.
Rölni jinin de jambandi, sanje shen, midi viwa ye, rogun namda shen ma shawu, edawon guru rana mendal, lagon ne ya taya mi. Ngam pöli ya, abuhaji. Tadakara, kaji shumen alja, abuhaji yabari. Mirang amba nalja, 마 추지시키 하래. 마 추지시. ene lame ina ma shuti gane ene jiji be 가서 be 왕 토소냐 be 매번저 매번 송벌 받아 저는 ene 슈구데 아우하데 아바나네 마 추지 전체 내장 라마 전화로 마 추지 표에 매번 저 세버
So there's a story of a Tibetan nomad from the region, nomadic region called Abohor. So at one time, one Abohor came to an initiation that was being given by a Lama, and so he brought with him a small piece of butter, and then during the initiation, he heard the Lama saying, "Now imagine that you have received this initiation, that initiation, and so forth." And then at the end of this initiation, because he heard the Lama saying this many times, but not really receiving the blessings and so forth. So what he did was he took out his the piece of butter and then said, Lama, you imagine that I offer this up to you, and then he put it back into his pocket. Yes. So here, during the process of the initiation, I will also be saying, imagine receiving this, and imagine doing this, and so forth.
So those people, consider himself or herself as a Buddhist, and then firstly, visualize in front of us Buddha Shakyamuni. Then the mandala, Tamjusungu.
No.
The mandala is
the
there are
mandala of the three
five deities.
Trisamayavyuharaja.
The main deity form Buddha Shakyamuni. And Chakya is Shongo Chakya.
So his hands are in this mudra of giving teaching.
Then Yesu Chanchu Sabachik, Yan Chanchu Sabachik, then Ye doing the Chanchu Sabachik, Vamik, Yan de Chanchu Saba Kasur Hamuchik, the Dustongo. So Namnang Pejiti, Migibizik, any Rinjungzik, Todi, Evamik, Hamudi, Tunjuzik, Takata Dramarisha, Dramache, Dendinche, what did you do?
And so in this mandala of the Trisamayavyuharaja Tantra, you imagine the central deity being the Buddha Shakyamuni, and then to his right, you imagine one Bodhisattva, and then also to his left, another Bodhisattva. And then in front of the deity on the right, you imagine a wrathful deity, and which belongs to the Amitabha lineage.
That's actually Hayagirva. Hayagirva. Wrathful.
And then in front of the deity on the left of the Buddha, you imagine a goddess. And so
Goddess Tara.
Goddess Tara,
Tara.
and who is the deity belonging to the Amoghasiddhi lineage.
So the center, Beruzana, right, I think Akyube, this Rana Sambhava, then this Amitabha, this Amoghasiddhi. Ringa Yongya di Azul Pumbunga Toa.
So why do we have the 5 Buddha families, Ratnasambhava and so forth, is because we have the 5 psychophysical aggregates.
Tedan Jeni yang Nyumungi Rik Ngashik Toa.
And also in relation to these our psychophysical aggregates, we also talk about the 5 different delusions or afflictive emotions.
Nyumubongai 가서 그게 집제도 집에 내걸라 예신가 사실 멜론데비 예신소 예신가.
And so when these 5 afflictive emotions, when we reach a point where we have purified these 5 afflictive emotions, then what we attain and corresponding to that are the 5 wisdoms.
Okay, so now offering. Oh, okay. Now the mandala with the 5 deities, and here 가서 다 과배왕기 and Lama so the time table yosabache.
So in order to receive this initiation, for the purpose of participating in this initiation, we need to also imagine the guru in the form of the main deity, who is not separate or different from the deity of the mandala.
Then, as I mentioned earlier, the above Buddha Shakyamuni, then 8 deity Bodhisattvas like Manjushri, Maitreya, Samantapatra, Nadarpani, Avalokiteshvara, these. So in Panchaparamita Sutra, you see mentioned these deity form of Bodhisattvas also is mentioned. So Nedinam you said this Chagati was serious in Chagan Denshi Surgery, Penishiving with Nalia, Jamden in things in Yatus Nyam show. Any Corlia, Pavachanesida, Sheripunigi, and a Tibetan Nagdua. So that the digital ladder chig, Sheripu in a Pavachanesis siege, mid-miss Sibonage and Gamana to worry. That the quality of the Pavachanesis Jetuganchi, ladder mother, Lamata Yongching Marada. So the nigger Lamata Miss Yomaina, the Sabun Nabaching Pavachanesis, Jamitung Miss Levina, or that Amo that the Sheriff Chibulo shooting something. Raya. Jensen Jagmare, and Sheriff with the Chico shooting out the Sheriff took the Raya subject. Just I got the Zute Duja Yondraja Sumudua. Then she shone Yondraja Sumura. At the shooting dot Yondra Remindo, Duja Lada, Yumshik to the social. And it'll have to your song of Chogodi group channel pages song. That Tungo did this Yaramada she, Mancha did Kansa Cheta Chigla, the song church. Didn't in the Sanga Chogodi, Mancha Kansa Gazan said the Dodishung did Tabachizan said. 야치 도도아. 자상 두진 되죠. 두진이 아니 지 두진이 타고 나와리야. 아니 긴고 원준이 긴고 시에서 도스니다 담바 톱 아니 냠내나 다 도스마 규정이. 이 강사 거전이셔. 다 저규를 가시 야좀 된데 결혼은 남자 체니 거기야 그룹전 송쇼인데 패지 유서래 디지털하고 해요. 저자 강사 거전체니 주부들 제대로는 별 강쟁이 종래 당나망고 용되기도 와. 그러다 다 저제대 꼭 강사 거전이 이거 되기도 와. 당나 천대 주무이는 미 하글라이 셰시 담바세 엔테는 막 기월이 되는지. 제가 은준나 디송그리 아니 가사 징규 까마 아니 니규 terma 되는 사무탕나스 송도가 자상가 상하고 좀 망체 강사 거전체 배시 당난 거지들이
And so I usually tell this in public, half jokingly, but half seriously. When we recite the Heart Sutra, we find that the Shariputra and the Buddha Buddha is in a meditation and absorbed in concentration, and then there's a dialogue between Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara. And so now here, Avalokiteshvara becomes somebody who is accessible to the people or the beings in the audience. And so because they have the pure karma to see Avalokiteshvara, and they are able to see him and have access to him and having dialogue with Shariputra. But if someone without that kind of pure karma, who is not able to have access, able to see Avalokiteshvara, what might appear is, of course, the person would be able to see Shariputra, talking, but then because of his having his or her not having the pure karma to see Avalokiteshvara, he might wonder if Shariputra is rather fine or not, because he sees Shariputra just talking to himself. So that might happen. And so I usually say that when it comes to the Prajnaparamita Sutras, we can see that these teachings were not given in public by the Buddha. And especially they were given to a very specific select disciples who have the right kind of conditions for receiving these teachings, and especially it is the case with Tantra. And so, of course, most of these tantras are given to a very specific disciples. Who would have received these teachings in some pure visions, and then they would practice it, and then spread the teaching to others as well. And so, except maybe in the case of Kalachakra Tantra, where there is the assembly of the kings and so forth. The rest of the tantras usually are given or received in visions. Yes. Rest of the tantras were given to a very select few disciples in pure vision, and then maybe there are some Kriya Yoga tantras which were also given in a large group of to a large group of people, where the Buddha himself appears in the form of a bhikshu, a monk. And therefore, what we can see here is that there are certain teachings which are, which become for which certain very specific people or beings are receptive. And so, accordingly, the tantric teachings are given. Were given by the Buddha, and then also other masters who receive these in their visions, and then practice them, and then receive the teachings, and they see the mandala of the deities in vision, and then practice them and spread these teachings. Whereas in the case of the Sutrayana, It is something which gives you the broad sort of outline or the structure of the teaching, the whole teaching of the Buddha. And so these sutra teachings are given more to a larger audience in general, whereas tantras are given to a very specific disciples. And then in the case of, because of this, the predispositions of the particular practitioners, they receive these visions, and therefore, even in Tibet, many Tibetan masters have received teachings and then see in pure vision of mandala deities, and then they practice them, and then accordingly spread them to others. And so, in the according to the Nyingma tradition, they make these three distinctions within the teaching of the Buddha. There is the Karma teaching, which is the teachings of the words of the Buddha that has come down from the Buddha Shakyamuni himself. So this is considered as the distant lineage, teaching that has come through the distant lineage. And then there are other teachings which are called dharmas, the revealed treasure teachings, which are said to be known as the close teachings that has come down from a closer lineage. And then there is the this other set of teachings which are called the pure visionary teachings, which are they're called the profound teachings.
Oh, yeah. So now you see, visualize the four deities, and in the
Bodhisattvas, the Bodhisattvas. No. Yes. And so now visualize as it is on the right side.
So Buddha is surrounded by these 8 deity Bodhisattvas, and then the 17 great masters, and then the 80 masters. All, and then also you see they visualize the Tibetan lineage, like that, visualize that. And then, firstly, you should request that kind of one aronas actually, one tundala, in the church, Toban aronas, the each with Tamrun aronas, actually.
And then we are going to repeat certain lines after the guru. These lines, what they mean is that you are requesting the master to give the initiation, and in order to receive the initiation, you are requesting the master to give the bodhisattva vows, and then in order to receive the bodhisattva vows, you're also asking the master to give you the precept of taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.
So, let's repeat after me. Gajin Kyoda Tambate.
Gajin Kyoda Tambate.
Lobin Kyone Konsusu.
Lobin Kyone Konsusu.
Changshu Chenpo Chudemba.
Changshu Chenpo Chudemba.
Gombo Chenpo Dasaru.
Gombo Chenpo Dasaru.
Tamzi Tinyi Dalazu.
Tamzi Tinyi Dalazu.
Changshu Samja Dalazu.
Changshu Samja Dalazu.
Sanje Shodan Gendunde.
Sanje Shodan Gendunde.
Gyapsum Daja Dalazu.
Gyapsum Daja Dalazu.
Tarba Chenpo Chongshodo.
Tarba Chenpo Chongshodo.
Gombo Dane Shudusu.
Gombo Dane Shudusu.
Gombo Dane Shudusu. Gombo Dane Shudusu.
Gombo Dane Shudusu.
Yeah. Omeza Amirda Kundala Hana Hana Hum Pe. Omeza Amirda Kundala Hana Hana. Omeza Amirda Kundala Hana Hana Hum Pe. Dadine, any Sanga Chedi Guhi Sidua. Sangwa Chen Chachi. Daddy go Yongja Chen number check. So Suda Guakshu or Chatiari. So did he do the Mixer Jimbari.
So, since Tantra is also known as the secret mantrayana, in Sanskrit Indian language, there is the term guhya, which means secret. And so, Tantra is something which is practiced in secrecy and not in openly. And therefore, in order to symbolize this, you are given this blindfold.
Yeah, Chanyashia.
Blindfold.
제소한테 김고고 나를 주는 하나도 제 내거리야. 이 착된 비주수도 매다가 참.
And then you're also given a garland of flower, which is for the purpose of making offering of flower to the deities in the mandala when you later enter the mandala. So please keep the flowers with yourself safely.
아감베라고. 다데네 로마 아니 다가다이니 상하기 이 탐매배 낭신리 껴야 쓰잖아요. 다 하이 나게게야 하이 나게 영화라 시르 되게 풍부 들을 때는 딱배 나한테 하이 인사 지치죠 말이. 탐매배 나와도 봐. 탐매배 나와 뒤니 아니 똥니를 냐버샤. 되네 똥니 다 몇바춘지 지금 게 몇바춘지 봐 스타로 답셔요 로티니 아니 서그 나발 샤야지 다 되게 아니 똥니도 손놈 살샤 될 때는 딱 다디 나오 냐버시잖아요 아니 맞게 다달래요 지상 나에게 가서 싫고 산한테 거고요.
So now when you do this practice of the deity yoga practice, as explained earlier, the meaning of tantra is to save yourself, your mind, from the ordinary perception and ordinary clinging. And so how you do that is, in order to be able to do that, one needs to imagine or visualize oneself as a deity. And so in the process of visualizing oneself as a deity, you can't just think that this body, this person with the flesh, bones and blood and so forth, this whole body itself is becoming a deity's body. That's not the way you imagine yourself into a deity. But what you do is you go through a dissolution process, and therefore you imagine bring up the understanding of emptiness. And so within this emptiness, through the meditation on emptiness, you dissolve everything into emptiness, and then you dissolve or the ordinary clinging and ordinary perception of yourself as of yourself, and then from within this meditation on emptiness, then even if it may be just an imagination at this stage, in imagination, you try to first dissolve yourself into emptiness, and from within this meditation on emptiness, then you arise into a deity with one face and two hands and so forth. And then on the basis of that form of deity that you visualize yourself, then you also meditate on the emptiness of the deity, and so for that.
자상가다 드부 산예사라 또 돔교연도 루바가야 담마가야 사실 가인이도와 데리야 랑드 또 랑공도 제샤와 랑기 냠용기 마도 셴지 셴로 낭미 되야기 구지도잖아요 랑도 추고 다 추고 돼 아니 셴든 마다 아니 셴든 중에 아니 수구샤도 받을라 셴든 수구스 뒤두야기 규들라 선왕 소도 이식 소사니 다 지 선왕 소도 이식 소사디 다 간다 동안 니게 거리야다 뒤숭이야리 다 금디 나기 섭제 가서다 말에 선왕 소도 이식 소신 소윤도 전에 조디 아니 서구 공야디 선왕 소지 디 아니 디 때문에 독립 공야디 이식 소지 다 두스도.
And so, at the resultant stage, when you attain a Buddha, what you attain are these twofold bodies. One is the Rupakaya, the physical dimension, and then the Dharmakaya, the other is Dharmakaya. And so the Dharmakaya is said to be a body or the attainment for oneself. And so what is meaning here is that when you attain Dharmakaya within yourself, I mean, it is something that you can actually tell from your own experience, and it becomes your own experience, real experience, and it is not something which is like directly accessible to other beings. And then from within this Dharmakaya, in order to serve other sentient beings, the whole purpose of attaining it is to serve other sentient beings. Therefore, in order to serve others, you need to appear in a certain form or certain fashion which is accessible to others, so they can relate to you. Therefore, you arise into a Rupakaya form of a Buddha. And so the Rupakaya is therefore said to be a form of Buddha which is meant for the purpose of other sentient beings, whereas the Dharmakaya is said to be for the purpose of oneself. And therefore, in order to attain these two, the Rupakaya and Dharmakaya, what you need to go through is the process of accumulating both the merit and wisdom. And through these two, you are able to attain these two Buddha bodies, the Rupakaya and Dharmakaya. And now in Tantra, in connection with Tantrayana, how you collect or accumulate these two, the merit and the wisdom, are you accumulate merit on the basis of visualizing yourself into a form of a Buddha, a deity, and then within that meditation on a deity, when you meditate on the emptiness nature of that deity, you are accumulating the wisdom aspect of the condition for the Buddhahood. So in this way, you on the basis of visualizing the deity and the emptiness, meditation on emptiness of the deity, you are accumulating wisdom and merit.
So, as yesterday, and I think day before yesterday also is mentioned about through investigation, what is I, what is self? You can't find. No, 강실 먹고 되다 남자는 디니 당신 걸 수류도 내니 뭐이 지속해야 돼. 저 가도 가이네. 그 낭좀 된 안에 샤베 있는 가서 쉬어야지 마도 파 그때 뭐도 그래 누구 뭐도 그래서 봐봐 제가 샤베 있나 저는 이해 안 되지. 디니 당신 걸 수류도 내니 뭐이 전 디진지들이参加 나버 재미 차서 송샤디.
And so in Master Chandrakirti's Madhyamaka Avatara, he says that things cannot be, should be accepted in a conventional on a conventional level. What we should be satisfied with when we accept things is that the mere appearance of things, of being conventionally existent. And so we should leave the conventional existence at that and not try to go delve into the nature of things in order to find the conventional things. And therefore he says that one should not disturb the worldly convention and when you want to know the worldly things.
Or Buddha also, if you investigate what is Buddha, Buddha's mind, Buddha's speech, Buddha's body, no. Then where is Buddha? None. Shunyata also. Shunyata, not something independent. But shunyata means, you see, for example, this mantra, the shunya of this mantra, shunyata of this mantra is the very existence of this mantra, you see, due to other factor, its parts, and finally, we just designate this mantra. So actually, the mantra, there is the ultimate reality is absence of independent existence of mantra. So now we are thinking, investigate, what's the reality of mantra? We can't find. No. So now meditate, investigate yourself. You can't find. One of my friend, one German, I think a brain specialist. Usually I difficult to remember name, but his name I remember because it's quite strange. Wolf Singer. A wonderful scientist. So he won our conference. So he actually, brought one paper. He because of draws where
It's true now.
he draws something about brain. Then he mentioned, scientist, no religious person, no believer. So then he mentioned, in brain, there is no central sort of area which control whole brain. No. The brain work, each part, full cooperation, then it work. So there is, then he told our meeting, there is no room of soul. So then he mentioned the Buddhist concept, no soul, is quite sort of quite fit. He mentioned that. So like that, if we investigate, but at the same time, some my friend, some Hindu practitioner, they concentrate here, Atma here, then actually they got some feeling, some experiences. So, doesn't matter. But as far as now Buddhism is concerned, no soul, but you should not misunderstand. No self does not mean self not at all exists. Self is there. But the way existence of the self is mere designation or the combination of body and mind. If we investigate, we can't find. So, no independent self. That means selflessness. Clear? So now, meditate. The reality of oneself. One of my friend, Bihari. He eventually become Buddhist and also become bhikshu. So one day we discuss about anatma. He actually shivering red.
No.
She was dar.
No. His whole body trembled.
Then gradually I explained the anatma does not mean nothingness. So pattita samuppada. One way, no independent existence. Because of the absence of independent existence must be some basis. So without a base, no shunya. Shunya is the reality of something. So therefore, shunya, the ultimate reality, after we investigate, we can't find anything. That's shunya. But that's entirely based on something.
So when we talk about shunyata, it is some kind of a quality that we actually understand on the basis of something, an object or something. And so without there being an object onto which you establish emptiness, you cannot talk about emptiness.
So sometimes I was telling, you see, this is someone, you see, who you actually you see, always you see, deal, the person. The person appears very nice, but in deep, the reality is a little bit too much clever, like that. And then we have to deal that person, but at the same time, understand the reality not that much reliable, isn't it? So something like that, we have to deal the phenomena, but should not feel this is something absolute, because the feeling of something absolute, independent, then acting basis of the destructive emotion. That's the point. That's the reason. The absence of independent existence does not mean nothing, nothingness. Clear. So now the mind which understands about the reality, the deeper reality, not as it appears something independence. If you investigate, we can't find that. So now that mind become Buddha now. Tatinda.
No. Yes. So as you meditate on emptiness and then you arise into the deity, what you go through is the meditation on emptiness, that the object, which is the emptiness. While you meditate on emptiness, you also, from within that meditation on emptiness, then your mind transforms into the deity, Buddha.
And the umojibu sidi yagoria, kasa ngobu tongbo sungye lauso bo chola tuene matapaya means. Kasa enti chu kasa. Chida teyi sungye so tongla sheba teyi naba jigyuda tishi ngobu tamche tongla yang tongye dali rudu yawa yurus. That's the issue.
And so in Madhyamaka Avatara, it said that although everything is empty of any independent intrinsic existence, yet from within that emptiness, everything else can arise.
Yeah. So now, visualize each one as a
Buddha.
Buddha Shakyamuni.
Yes. So visualize yourself as as Buddha Shakyamuni when arising from within this emptiness, and then with 4 retinues.
Oh, yeah,
No.
no.
At this point, you need you should meditate yourself or visualize yourself as Buddha Shakyamuni, just a single deity, without the retinues.
So
And at your heart, imagine a home, blue in color. And then at your throat, imagine a R syllable, red in color. And then on your crown or forehead, then imagine an Om syllable, white in color.
No.
So imagine that rays of light emit from these 3 syllables and fill up your body. So next comes taking Bodhisattva vows. Yes. So to take the Bodhisattva vows, you first generate the bodhicitta. Yeah. No. Does anybody have these verses for bodhicitta? With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by the wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. So do you have this verse, anybody? Yes.
That's enough.
Yes. So,
So now they remember Buddha and those Bodhisattvas and all the lineage sort of gurus. Then you make some kind of pledge in the front of them.
so imagine the Buddha and the Bodhisattvas and so forth, and let us generate bodhicitta by reciting these lines.
Then perhaps I think I say it's Tibetan.
Yes.
Then you just recite the English word.
Yes.
With
the wish to free all sentient beings, please repeat.
I
I shall go for refuge
to
to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today, in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening to benefit all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With a wish to free all beings, I should always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. And so at the end of this now, third repetition, which you would do, make a strong pledge that you will do the work for the benefit of all sentient beings. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge until to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. So having generated the aspiring bodhicitta, next we take the bodhisattva vows. Do you have this text for the bodhisattva vows? It says, I take refuge in the three jewels. I confess all my negativities individually. I confess individually all my negativities. I rejoice in the merit of my creating beings, and I take hold of the perfect state of Buddhahood. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, and I do so to attain an enlightened mind. In order to fulfill the aims of myself and others, I shall develop a supreme enlightened motive, and toward all sentient beings, my invited guests, I shall act with supreme enlightened conduct. May I become a Buddha to benefit all. Is that the text we have?
Do you have? No. That one, no?
Is it there?
No. No. Then okay. Then okay. Now okay. Then perhaps Rangulon Yamada. Oh no?
Not here.
Anta Deduga. Dirbe.
Dimarisha. Dimarish. The dagig.
Oh,
Dimarish. So,
then I think I
say it.
Recite.
I recite the Tibetan because of the low voice. You English word, more stronger voice.
Yes.
Now we two should compete now. Oh, now did that?
Yes. Please kneel on your right knee.
그러면서 군인은 막 수심 특히. 깨면도. 다 장소 깨면도 다 도스한데.
So those who are on
It's okay,
chair, you
it's
may
okay,
just
it's
stay
okay.
seated on your
As
chair.
you like. Okay. So
Please repeat.
I myself, I think each day, this recitation, I think 4 or 5 times, I think at least 6 times, every day. So this is very, very helpful, you see, to keep altruistic mind always something fresh. So 6 times, not same time, one morning, and then after, it's a few hours recite this, and few hours recite this. So, about 16 hours, you see, 6, 7 times. That's very useful. Okay. Now, Kunjo Sumla Dajevchi,
Please, I go for refuge to the 3 jewels.
I
I confess individually all my negativities. I
rejoice
rejoice in the merit of migrating beings and take to mind the perfect state of Buddhahood. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. And I do so to attain an enlightened mind. In order to fulfill the aims of myself and others, I shall develop a supreme enlightened motive. And towards sentient, all sentient beings, my invited guests, I shall act with supreme enlightened conduct. May I become a Buddha to benefit all beings. I go for refuge to the 3 jewels. I confess individually all my negativities. I rejoice in the merit of migrating beings. I take hold of the perfect state of Buddhahood. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. And I do so to attain enlightened motive. In order to fulfill the aims of myself and others, I shall develop a supreme enlightened motive. And toward all sentient beings, my invited guests, I shall act with supreme enlightened conduct. May I become a Buddha to benefit all beings.
다 순백해도 돼. 아니? 신주선배 도박규를 톱소 삼아나셔. 나한테 아직 도박해 랜드 여기 돼. 도박직 숭투버 민두 삼아디 되게 semsam고성게 도박톱에 미고 제 먹었지.
And so at the end of this 3rd repetition now, when you say, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings, those of you who are able to feel, who think that you are able to take the Bodhisattva vows and engage in the practices, please feel convinced that you have received a complete set of Bodhisattva vows when you say, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. And those of you who are not, who don't think you can make such a pledge to work for all sentient beings, you do not need to think so.
So those people who who take Bodhisattva vow, then 18 major precepts, then 46 minor precepts. The main thing is never harm and try to less selfish, extreme self-centered attitude. Now on, I committed fully altruistic mind. That's the main thing. Okay.
I go for refuge to the three jewels. I confess individually all my negativities. I rejoice in the merit of my creating beings. I take hold in my mind the perfect state of Buddha. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened through the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. And I do so to attain enlightened motive. In order to fulfill the aims of myself and others, I shall develop the Supreme Enlightened motive. And towards all sentient beings, my invited guests, I shall act with supreme enlightened conduct. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings.
Yeah. Now finished. Sit down.
Please sit.
So effect may not find immediately, but months, years, decades really affect our mind. Actually, my own case, I start more seriously this practice, I think age 15, 16. Also the interest about Shunyata, more or less to say, the same period. Then, by age about 30s, after I reach India, then the understanding about Shunyata, you see, real feeling now develop. That also, you see, decade by decade, gradually stronger. Nowadays, of course, I still cannot say I have fully sort of developed or understood the wisdom of Shunyata. But now I feel if I have more time and think, then I think
if I have the time to meditate on emptiness, I feel that perhaps I can actually have the realization of emptiness.
Mm-hmm. Then Bodhisattva, till my age, about 30, certainly I very much admire Bodhisattva, but in deep inside, you feel, oh, that's not easy, difficult. Then I received the oral transmission of Shantadeva's teaching. Then you see the more effort, more meditation. Then gradually, nowadays, I think similarly, the Bodhisattva also, if I have sufficient time and more or meditate, I see some kind of the Bodhisattva sort of level. I can see that you give Bodhisattva
Yes. I get some kind of a sense that I may be able to reach that Bodhisattva level.
Mm. So that's through training, through meditate, tirelessly, continuously, decade by decade, it really affects. The result, a person becomes much happier. Okay. So you all, the same human being, same brain, So everyone have the ability, you see, to sort of develop these things. So you should not feel, oh, I can't do. It is the real sort of the source of failure. We are same human being. Buddha also same human being. Nagarjuna also same human being. And particularly Nagarjuna, all these Indian brain, not Tibetan brain. We Tibetan brain. So you should feel some kind of because of the self-confidence. If you have some interest or willingness, that's important. I always thinking, day and night, I always even dream quite often. You see, they remember about shunyata and altruism. So at the time of my death, I'm quite sure my sort of because of the grosser level of mind, when sort of dissolution, I certainly remember bodhicitta and shunyata. That's a guarantee. My next life will be something that's a useful life. That's quite sure. Clear. So I just want to know everyone. They have the potential, same potential, but more or less same opportunity. So think more seriously, more sincerely. Okay. And should not expect today you received the initiation, the next morning you will be Buddha. Impossible. It may take eons. Doesn't matter. Something really worthwhile to achieve, then time is not important. And each day your life becomes something meaningful, then not much matter. No matter. Your body, speech, mind, dedicate well-being for other. As the prayer, as long as space remains, as long as sentient beings suffering remain, I will remain. That kind of prayer is tremendously bring inner strength. Clear. Okay. Now that's the division. That issue the that get you suyin rikti chilaka mebati and the landi that sim sambuchi yen yuva yindu yasandas and a sangak chur that yamne gotu yuva yindu zane devashimula that the language.
And so next comes a question that the master asks, which says, hey, who are you and what do you like? And then in response to that, what the disciples say is, I am a fortunate one, and I am interested in great bliss. And so what is being done here is that the master is asking your lineage and your interest, and then your response when you say I am a fortunate one and I am interested in the great bliss means that you are someone who is a fortunate one in the sense that you have now, since you have generated bodhicitta and taken bodhisattva vows as well, then you become a fortunate one who see the path of tantra.
Yeah. So, Jekyu Suyin Jila Ga Gyasanta Dewachimbo Laos.
Yes, I am the fortunate one, and I'm interested. Say this, please. I'm a fortunate one, and I'm interested in great bliss.
Okay, that's a division. Now, meditation. Firstly, is to meditate about altruism. The 37 verses mentioned, or 8 verses mentioned. Now, infinite altruism. Now, cultivate or visualize. Think.
Generate.
Generate.
No.
Thinking the value of altruism and the harmfulness of self-centered attitude. then use human intelligence. Logically, whether we actually actualize or not, you see, the desire automatically develop once we know the pros and cons right now. So now think altruism, infinite altruism. This is not just to see sense of concern of others, but I take full responsibility for well-being of other, not certain time, but forever. Okay, and for that reason, I want to become enlightened, so that I can serve more people, even within this lifetime. The more I gain some experience, I can help, I can share more people. Clear? So now meditate or cultivate
No.
altruism. 1 minute, meditate. Shantadeva says, Dr. Shenji Dungeta, Yangda Jawar Machana, Sanje Nitu Mindruching, Kwana Deva Me Sonda.
And so Master Shantideva says that if you do not exchange your happiness and joy with the suffering of others, then there's no way you can attain, leave alone attaining Buddhahood. Even in samsara, you will not have happiness.
So, as I mentioned yesterday, we should be wise selfish, not foolish selfish, or short-sighted foolish selfish. So think more well-being of other. That also
So that is that would be one of the highest motivation.
Now that altruistic mind transform
into a disc of light.
Yes, in
at
your heart.
heart.
Now think Arya Deva, 400 verses mentioned. Kāngla tēni yung yuwa, tēni rāwa miñjū rō, dīgū rāwa meba, tēnā tāri yuwa yinsa.
And so Master Deva in the 400 verses says, what arises through dependence has no autonomy. And since all these do not have any autonomy, therefore there is no self.
So remember that. When we fully sort of concentrate on that, then eventually you get some kind of the feeling of space, nothingness. But that does not mean nothingness, but absence of independent existence. Since you say the mind focusing, what's the ultimate reality? The reality is simply absence of independence. So that mind then absorb some kind of nothingness, but actually not nothingness. Simply absence, nothing, independently existence. Then kala chunzin tengbashin, ying rangsim yirmin nanguru nyonanga traba malino.
And so the seventh Dalai Lama says that just as the clouds dissipate in the space and in autumn space, likewise all these experiences and appearances dissolve within this nature of the mind, which is empty nature and like space.
So now meditate on it. Now the Sanskrit word also I think quite helpful. Om Sumbhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Sumbhava Shuddha Ham. Just to remember that. Om is symbolize. No. Same. I mean, Om they symbolize body, speech, mind. So self, which designated on the combination of body, speech, mind. Om. Sumbhava Shuddha, that if we investigate, we can't find. Its very nature is absence of independent existence. Sarva Dharma means our bodies, minds, and entire phenomena. Again, Sarva Dharma Subhava Shuddha. Sarva Dharma Subhava Shuddha. Hang means your mind fully absorbed in that that meaning.
So when you meditate on the meaning of this mantra, Svabhava, Sarvadharma Svabhava Shuddho Ham means that your mind completely is absorbed into that emptiness.
Now that very mind which understands that now transform one Vajra, white color, on that disc, moon disc. So now you pledge semdita pe tu namdo yanda pe nyaba me bas sungins tu ta to pe chambachins semnibute.
And so, having done that visualization, then make this firm pledge that you will never lose or cause these two principles of the bodhicitta and the emptiness, wisdom of emptiness, you will never cause them to decline, and that you will keep them forever.
So, now this Sanskrit word, repeat. Om Sarva Yoga Chitta.
Om Sarva Yoga Chitta.
Ubataya me.
Upatayami.
Om Sarva Yoga Chitta.
Om Sarva Yoga Chitta.
Ubataya me.
Upatayami.
Om Sarva Yoga Chitta.
Om Sarva Yoga Chitta.
Ubataya me.
Upatayami.
These are two minds appear as a moon disk and Vajra. Also you visualize in the heart of Lama. So from there, duplicated way. Duplicate. Come and absorbed in your own moon disk and Vajra. Cheni that the double chasu sabachiku.
So visualize that the same as Vajra and the moon discs at the heart of the Guru comes forth. I mean, replicas comes forth to you, and they dissolve into the Vajra and the moon discs at your heart, thereby stabilizing the moon and the Vajra at your heart, the two bodhicittas.
Om Sura de Samaya Damo de Mezaya Dazo, 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 Om Sura de Samaya Damo de Mezaya Dazo Kang. That name Sanga Che de Sanshi Bebe Tugores. That is Shell, Sangam.
Yes. Next is instructing the disciples to keep this secret, the secrecy of Tantra tantric practice.
어떤 다가 지금도다. 전혀 뒤집어도 진이로 뒤에서 이거도 뭐 쓰고 놀라 뭐지 맞다바 놀라야 많이 노. 사진에 명월이야经过 샤고 체체 아니 그냥도 나로 수 사바시야.
Yes. Now imagine that the eastern door or the gate of the mandala is being opened, and then you are let into it, into the mandala.
다经过 하려야 류가 이순 그 차셔 바바체체. 다도 맞다.
Yes. And so please repeat these mantras, imagining that you are making prostrations with your body, speech and mind to the deities of the mandala.
Om Namah Deha.
Hold your hand and touch your crown.
Om Namah Dehum.
Please repeat. Om Namah Tehum. Touch your
Om
throat.
Namah Mehum.
Om Namah Mehum.
Om Namah Namahum.
And touch your heart. Namo Om Namo Namo.
진짜죠. 다 전에 탐주 순구 그 애니 20을 달아 어로나 사치. 20을 칠로 나오나 사치.
And then next is requesting the Guru to shower upon us the blessings of the Trisamayavyuharaja Tantra.
다 들었어 때에 애는 라마 탐주 순구도 세 애니 두개 미밀레 외세트 두 뜸이죠. 두개 뜸이레 외세트디 애니 야사다 잡아 탐제 애니 두번 탐주 순구기 애니 땡다 때문에 경우고 나보다 조주네 애니 로마도 팀수 삼바시야.
And then imagine that rays of light are emit from the dream syllable at the heart of the Guru and go out into the 10 directions, thereby invoking the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. And then the blessings of the Trisamayavyuharaja God deity comes forth. I mean, blessings come in the form of the body, speech, and mind of the Trisamayavyuharaja Tantra, and they dissolve into you.
오면서 암비션 알아 되게 진배 매덕 청와대 다 인공을 하려야 필요해요 사바체 아니 매덕 청와대 차도 남쇼.
So please hold the flower that you have been given in your hand, and imagine that you are offering this garland of flower to the deities of the mandala.
네. 또하다 수도 레주잖아. Now Rajiv now acting like representative of the old people. So he now throw the flower in mandala. So when I
say the mantra,
say the mandala, all you say repeat after me. So meantime you visualize. I think firstly the Rajiv sort of the shine head. You see the mandala very bright, like. then when mantra repeat, then this your flower. You see, throw with motivation. The 5 jnana Buddhas are Berozana, Akyube, Jana Sambhava, Amitabha, Amoghasiddha. See, according to your sort of condition of, now here including physical condition or mental condition, your sort of takasa rik.
No, your whichever lineage you belong to.
Lineage. So, what lineage? The deity, you see, your flower should fell on that, like that. So, that's it. No, member on the Jesus. Better Patingiano, better. Bodhisattva Bazar Hall.
Please say this mantra. Bodhisattva Bazar Hall.
Bodhisattva Bazar Hall. True. In center, Berozana. Thank you. Yeah. So Patingiano, the most of the Mambala, Sabato was Lord Shijumato, but Jesus on shade. Now the flower put on your crown. Tenema raised the Jicta, Trisama Chungni, but did to Tasso Samada. She guessed him Kone to Bear, children of Jig, Shiro, the Perso Sabachia.
And so imagine when that you're now wearing a garland of flower on your head, and then from these flowers, imagine nectar and then rays of lights coming down and entering your body, thereby purifying yourself with all the from all of all the negativities, and also increasing your wisdom to see what is right from wrong in order to serve others.
Yeah. 아주 팁이야. 나중에 어머 도저서 땡기지 미시반에서 뭐 싫어서 도저미를 나는 매. 다 전다세.
Please remove the blindfold.
The red cloth remove now. So visualize now as soon as you see the cloth remove, then visualize you saw the 5 deities, and particularly the Buddha Shakyamuni, and then whole the mandala. Visualize like that. Okay. That gives you. Now this is the Kingudu Shugwe Korsati.
So with this, we are done with the parts related to entering the mandala.
당시 왕디 추구주지 초안 수구주지 제변이와.
And then, having entered the mandala, then when you're going to the actual process of initiation starts here. You're going to receive 2 different initiations. One is the water initiation, and which is for the purpose of attaining the Dharmakaya, and then the next initiation is crown initiation for Rupakaya form of Buddha.
Oh yeah. 사시 비주주지면 다 너무 리졸루션인데 이제 뭐니 선지신도 미리 루근 남다 신거 저거죠 예동 거라는 맨달라고 내야 다야 네. 또 너무 좋겠어. 예. 당연히야. 아니. 티. 총구로나 소화되야래.
So first we make a request to the Guru to give us the water initiation.
청주도제 산제라.
청주도제 산제.
최전시다 자와.
최전시다 자와.
다자롭도 제외.
다자롭도 제외.
남게도제 된다. 남게도제 된다. 남게도제 된다.
남게도제 된다.
야. 어버서 아밀다 군들레 하나하나 홍배 어머서 먹어주도 서와다 마서 먹어주도 한 완전 분주 동반지도 주로 동뱅알 엄홍 잠시 아 남슈월이 주에 이신가이 분주를 다 중앙구야 그 왕라 아니 잔장대 인대다게 중앙구수 냐바나쇼.
Now imagine that the
가다 독립공부야. 독립공 아니 독립 독배 송능 아니 아다 안다 가서 주지. 투어 탐지 송구리야. 이양서 사이저를 때 나왔어.
And so again, you need to go through the meditation on emptiness here. And so meditate on emptiness, and then from within that meditation on emptiness, the perceived object of that mind, meditating on emptiness, transforms into yourself as the Buddha, Trisamayavyuharaja.
Oh yeah. 당연히 더 밖에 또 뭐지 진짜. 무슨 소가 나와서 이제 좀 공부를 뭐 나와야 되지. 뭐 근데 이제 그 어떻게 당고 대녀한테 저는 왜 와서 나라잖아. 왜 저거 저기 뭐 이거 거는 이제 뭐 이제 되는 거 어디 뭐 그러다 보니까 또 좀 나가면 이제 저 소지처럼 어서셔다 빼지신 되는 지된 게 뜻이 숨고 이제제베 뜻이 보면 되게 기부절로 와고 내가 뭐 저거다. 전선을 된 일 남버쇼 나머지 제가 나서다 가다 나서다 버디 아다 베디 달마다 벌린 남 소마야 산면도 안에다 베디샤사나 하라 마라 나비가 다라가 베드 dharma de sara sumabala haza kana maambala rajane zuro nasa kare so muni mandala sabore worin dawa kala ja abi gesa amma sawatana kada abi gesa sawatana kada dawa kala ja abi gesa mi 어머 저와다가 맨들어 써버려 부서 갈라져 에베케자 미 어머 그래서 의다가 에베케서 홍소라다다 아한 나디기 중앙 굴니 아니 심규급의 묘목보다 시제적으로 타다베 장야 느버샤 아니 누구 추구루야 느버샤소 사바샤 빵버터도 추구루야 느버샤소 사바샤.
So with this initiation, the water initiation, as you receive it, imagine that it leaves a strong, very powerful imprint in your mind to overcome the negative emotions and the residual stains, so that you are able to attain the Dharmakaya.
Oh, yeah.
And next, imagine that the initiating deities dissolve into you as well. So with this we are completed. We are done with the water initiation. Mandala offering for the next initiation, please.
누구나다 지금 저거 이런 거는 mandala가 내야 다야 미. 무슨 어제다. 다 손제 저주도 산제라. 최진시다 자와다. 다자로도 제외시. 남게도 된다. 남게도 된다. 어면서 아무도 군들라 하나하나 오면 어머서 뭐지도 뭐 수고하지도 한 완전 주변 동반이도 주로 동변 안래 옴잠시 이제버는에서 신이 주변도 교 나한테는 원어서도 제한장데 저는 이 시을 줘대 아니 주변이 와고서는 몇번 무슨 소방 가서 이러고 이제 공부도 뭐 사제만 남아야 되잖아. 뭐 이제 이제 그 뜻이 나고 어때? 영화들 저러면 뭐 나라죠. 그다음에 좀 이제 뭐 이거 근데 이제 그 어디 뭐 오기는 더 버전들 버전 좀 나만 이제 주변에서 좀
So imagine that the deities are invoked and asked to control the
주변에 근데 기본적으로 와 무슨 소리에서 진짜 선생님도 또 봐줘. 어머나 뭐고다 매다보다 에베케자니 다 주변지 주변이 지난주 이런 걸로 막 관바 삼지 걸로 그 뚜고 삼지 이니 지금 동이 다 고서도시 되니 서구로 샤베 아니 삽색 다 지금 똑바로 계속 사바시다 아니 산지기 수구주야 누가 샤소 사바나쇼.
And so, just as this crown is touched on your head, imagine that your understanding and insight into emptiness is enhanced and made more profound. And so, through this, then imagine that you are left with an imprint, a powerful imprint for attaining the Rupakaya form of Buddha.
제대로 무슨 하나님도 기초 그래 기본은 뭐 그러니 그래서 또 엄자는 먹고도 배자봐도 배자서도 에비케서 매 엄소도 나가도 에비킨 거도 서버시라 엄소도 나가도 에비킨 서버시라 엄소도 에비킨 서버에 시제 홍 나 왕가 산호 전이를 팀 아니 어디샤 아니 링에 우제 서버시 나셔
Yes. And then imagine that the initiation deities, the deities conferring initiation upon you, dissolve into you, and you are also adorned with the five Buddha family crown.
Oh yeah. 딱 왕가 놀러만 여기 배우고는 좀 여러 가지 왔다가 알아가 봐데 베베데 어떻게 견되는데 샤도버데 정서하 다전에 제나 다왕 톰니 제나 차인 말이 중에서 고로 오면서 해도 뭐 양아도 뭐 알려 주면 동 오면서 바가랑 양아도 뭐 알려 주면 시주니 보고 되면 저는 쌤 집어서는 주로는 그냥 저거는 책이 고로 고월지 단이 긴걸로 변주로 가다 이제 뭐 이러서 이제 줘서 받아서 이제 양아도 보고 저는 이제 교육이 뭐 좋아졌는데 저거 저 두번은 길러 줘. 야다. 신은 이렇게 매우다데.就是叫我人家我也只是是啷个就为人就我个就是原来那么就我们少到人呢还开始没可是就说这边讲没个人不是说说就你那边就是他们我可能没就是我们这不可能没这种还开始没我的第这个多么城市送个网哎车上什么的
So with this, the entire initiation of the Trisamayavyuharaja is completed.
That the one Tomni, that the Jerusalem Tomba Toyo in Dusane, Netaki Shagi, Jerusalem Zodunda, and Yeshadi Jig Pashamache. And that Toshishu, Nirishindu, Tuni Komiada, and Chanjusam Komia, that is all. Any to be Sunga. And money source to be sungati and parabara toto chang and then this is
So since you have received Bodhisattva vows, what you need to know is it's important to that you know understand about the 18 18 root downfalls, and then there's 46 minor precepts of Bodhisattvas. And having taken this initiation and Bodhisattva vows, then the main practice that you should emphasize are the cultivation of bodhicitta, this altruistic intention, and also understanding of emptiness. And then sometimes you could also recite the mantra of Buddha Shakyamuni, Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha.
Yeah. Now finished.
This Thanksgiving mandala offering.
Now lecture about Buddhism this year, now in Delhi, now completed. Now I'm looking forward next year. And then I wish, you see, within 1 year, I think you should develop some sort of inner strength. Okay. Then it is, it is quite useful. It's easier, our spiritual sort of experience, higher. Otherwise, you see, 1,000 time initiation. Here, remains zero, and then not not much helpful. Now today, teaching Tantrayana. So Tantrayana, and I think, and Mahayana in general, and particularly Tantrayana, since ancient time, it remained a little bit controversial. Firstly, before Nagarjuna come, they already certain sort of view Mahayana or this sutra, like Panchaparamita Sutra, didn't taught by Buddha. So Nagarjuna and Ranamala, you see, he emphasizes this is authentic Buddhist teaching. Some reasons mentioned. Then Maitreya Bodhisattva also, you see, actually, Kasa Dotien
Sutra Alankara.
Ka
Sutra.
Sutra Alankara, one chapter, I think the second chapter, actually, you see, explain the Panchaparamita Sutra is authentic Buddhist teaching. And then Pavibhiga, they talk about
Tarka Jwala.
Tarka,
Jwala.
Tarka. No.
Tarka Tong Satribe. Gol Tarka Tess. The Pavibhiga, really great scholar. Although his view about Shunyata criticized by some other Madhyamika philosopher, it is quite true. So in any way, so in his writing, you see, he's very detailed, explain it is authentic Buddhist teaching. Then Shantadeva also, you see, argued that. So it shows, before Nagarjuna come, already some kind of different views or controversial. For example, so one reason in Vinaya, Bhikshu is the highest sort of kasata. And
Order.
Ka.
Highest order. No.
So monk is a very, very sort of kasata. No.
Revered highly. Revered highly.
Revered. Then Bodhisattva Yana, the lay Bodhisattvas and the female Bodhisattvas. Bodhisattva vow also no differences. Sex, right? No, like that. And then also you see Dharmakaya or Sambhogakaya. You see these things, you see, just mental sort of projection, not reality. That kind of sort of argument. So detail explain and detailed response, right?
Response.
Or explain on these things. Then Tantrayana. Of course, there are common practice in the Hindu Tantrayana, Hindu Tantra, mantra, or Buddhist mantra. Then, so therefore, and then more important 사만남전아리야 각바집에 그돌이야 각다 거인도잖아 아니 너로 뭐 비고 써야지 다 아니 너로 뭐 비면 나로리야다 가래 안도 보나 야 게다나 뛰어 정신 게임이 중 게임이 더부 게임이 산데 이거 뭔고 이거다 자상가 다디 닌데 차 닌데 템에 디디 다 원배熊的 송시버다 그 가상 안 좋은데 이 천리를 타면 어스다 통대 디디 겨치무도 봐. 네, 겨미기 공도. 아니 리저고 침나디 아주 롱제고. 침나 근에 용서 리저디 아주 통과 말을 아니 캔사시다. 리저비 이러나 나도 롱으로. 나도 롱어라 메나 되게 엔너로 딱딱 주고도 가. 지금 배나 계시는 저네 저기 치료비 좀더 거두잖아요. 나로 몸이 봐도 지금 야도 비고 저 쉬울 거. 아니 소수 흉날도 저 가갈 때는 참고 말아 봐. 말배야. 라야. 말배름시. 저선가 신루 가이도 전에 온다 야도 비고 차네 가야 즉 나로 몸이 차네 가이도 전에 소수 흉 나로래야 나로 몸이 봐. 지 연구도는 그 거주를 맞아. 강하신 말. 아니 니네 신고 때문에 흉대 아니 뭐지 무슈 겨면서 꼭도 저다 저거 남샤 응만받는 송샤거든 아니 가서 등고는 송샤거든 양 도샤도 샤바든데네 라라 변은 저불이 라라 dumbo 라라 투시 전 잠매도 송도 자 디디 이르잖아요 지 당한 탐해버려 신고 차되게 하래 저서 그냥 가상 안주 잡을이야 신고 차대요. 근데 이번 이두산에 다 디지털이 신고 때문에 흉디 무시 무슈 겸해서 그거야. 엔신에 제 롱들이야 이식으로. 제시 찍을 맨저 소연도 다 디니 가서 그게 자동 실리는 것도 봐. 봐. 자 디디 이두산에 가서 정중랑 다 또다 나는데 지 그게 딱제시는 거야. 룩 디시는 제인데 저렇게 하면 가고 싶어요.
So, in the Pramanavartika text by Master Dharmakirti, it mentions different kinds of logic. Some of these logics are known as negations. Logics, I mean, where you use negation, negative terms. So, first of all, we can talk about the reasonings which are proving something from a positive side, and then there are other reasonings which are proving something by using negative reasonings. And so within the negative reasonings, where there are different kinds of negative reasonings, one of them is what is called a reasoning which whereby you say that if something is observable, then it must call on, and if it is not seen, then you cannot actually contradict what is called observable, by just saying that it's not called seen. And so in this way, for example,
I think one example. Now here, this is someone due to defect eye. If you see something huge black here, then may say, oh, there's one elephant. Then we argue, if elephant there, we should see. But since we cannot see, therefore, absence of elephant is exist. No elephant. So that's the katayanda.
No. So that's one type of negative reasoning. So it's called something observable, but not called which is not seen. And so you use that reasoning. For example, now in the case of Abhidharma Kosha, called
then Nagarjuna and those great sort of scholars which I mentioned their name, these are Indians. And then the time Nagarjuna only after 400 years after Buddha. Compare nowadays, you see, over 2,000 years, 2,500 years. So the time also, you see, near to Buddha, closer to Buddha. Then Nagarjuna, like Nagarjuna, as I mentioned yesterday, they never accept easily. Even Buddha's own word, they carry thorough investigation and very scientific minded. Nagarjuna, not kind of great sort of saint, a little bit dull, not that way. Marve, cook, this one. So therefore, if the Panchaparamita Sutra, not the Buddha's own word, then Nagarjuna, these, I think, must raise questions. So therefore, this is one thing. Then more important, the Pali Sutra, only through Pali Sutra. Of course, Four Noble Truths mentioned. The anathema theory also mentioned. But not much detailed sort of reasons or explanation. Other hand, they like the Dignac or Dharmakirti in their writing. See, they explain Four Noble Truths through reasoning. And the concept of anathema, see, such sort of wonderful, detailed explanation, something really convincing available in these great Sanskrit scholars' writing, like Nagarjuna. About concept of Four Noble Truths and also the Kasajuti, anathema, shunyata theory, like that. Then another thing, this is about Mahayana Sutrayana. Now the Tantrayana. In Pali tradition, like Vasubandhus, Karyachavuti, Abhidhamma Kosha Karika. Or that root text, I mean that text also I learned by heart. So although I learned or memorized, but the third chapter of that text now I rejecting. About Mount Meru, flat word. As a Buddhist, you see, we cannot accept that. It goes against our
It goes against our direct perception.
No. So as a result of my sort of contact with scientists or some knowledge about the modern science about cosmology, cosmology, these things, then the number one casualty is now no longer accept the Mount Meru. Not serious, okay, whether there's Mount Meru or not. Four Noble Truths is very authentic, and Shunyata very authentic. The Mount Meru doesn't matter. See, now these are a controversial thing. Even today, in Taiwan, and also in China, you see, some people sort of emphasis Mahayana is not true teaching of Buddha. And in some cases, I think those countries will follow the Pali tradition, also sometimes a little bit kasuta, skeptical, like that. Then Tantrayana. Although Tantrayana, you see, flourished in China and Japan, and also I think Korea. Vietnam, I'm not very sure. I think the Tantrayana may be there. So in Japan, I know the Triya Tantra or Upatantra, Yoga Tantra. These common in Japan. Of course, it's in Japanese Buddhist tradition, there's Zen, and then the Mikyo Tantrayana. So in these, you see, Buddhist countries, you see, it seems, you see, they follow separately. Zen, separate. Mikyo, Tantrayana, separate. In Tibet case, Vinaya practice is the basis. Then the Bodhisattva yana, mainly the training of altruism and 6 parameters simultaneously. On top of that, the tantric practice also, you see, include. So one person simultaneously practice all 3 yana, like that. Now the Tantrayana. You see, still some now I think one occasion in America, one scholar, you see, we just used to talk, casual talk. And I mentioned Nagarjuna, among Nagarjuna's writing, Dokunativa.
Sutra Samuchaya.
No, I mentioned that. Then that scholar say, no, that did not wrote by Nagarjuna, because some of the sutras which mentioned there is come later, not Nagarjuna's time. Then I respond the Abhayakara. Abhayakara means consent. Abhayakara. Abhayakara. Great scholar. You see, he wrote a commentary about the Nagarjuna's Kasati.
The Sutra Samuchaya.
Oh. So he didn't sort of express doubt whether this is Nagarjuna's word or work or not. So that scholar didn't see that. Then he remained quiet. And there is some occasion in Delhi, you see, one sort of conference about the authenticity of Mahayana. Then I mentioned, I really feel, as far as Buddha Dharma is concerned, I think Indian should know better than Western scholars. Number one. Then I think another, like, you see, from a little bit distance, is one room, you see, outside very cold, so the person feel very cold. But in that room, we can see big fire. Then the person, one person say, oh, that room also must be very cold. Then another person say, no, because there is fire. Fire Fire gives heat, warm. So therefore, coldness and hot cannot go together longer period. Therefore, you see, the opposite of coldness, fire there, hot there. So therefore, you see the Gendamikusha.
Yes. And so here, when somebody says this, that there is coldness in that room, but then the other person says that this can't be true because there's fire there. What you are trying to show is the antithesis to coldness. So when the antithesis to coldness is proved, then you can reject or refute the coldness in that room. So in this way, you are showing the contrast or contradictory reasonings to prove that there is fire there or warmth there. And similarly, now in the case of the size of the moon and sun, and then the height of the moon and sun from the earth, and so forth, that are mentioned in Abhidhamma Kosha. When we today, from the scientific point of view, these are observable. The sun and the size of the sun and the moon and the height from the earth and so forth are something which can be proved through measurements and so forth. And therefore, what is mentioned in Abhidhamma Kosha, in the case of Mount Meru and so forth, cannot be accepted. The size of the moon and the sun and then the height from the earth cannot be accepted as it is explained in the Abhidhamma Kosha. And similarly, with regard to Mount Meru, it is said that the shadow of Mount Meru is what we experience. But then, if that is the case, how come that the source of that shadow, the Mount Meru, cannot be seen by us? And so, therefore, we can say that if Mount Meru is, of course, said to be something physical, right? And therefore, it should be observable to our perception. Therefore, if it is something which should be observable, but that is not seen by us, then we cannot go against our perceptions. And so in this way we can reject the existence of Mount Meru as well as explained in the Abhidhamma Kosha. And so what we are trying to say is that while we in our texts there are lots of refutation of the views of non-Buddhist traditions, the atheist assertions and so forth, how can we contradict ourselves in our own system by accepting these kinds of things?
For example, now the reason to oppose existence of Atma is the Katha.
Yes. So when we use reasoning to reject or refute the existence of an Atma, we are using a negative reasoning that contrasts or contradicts.
So I think now too long. I think too long. Okay. Now, so my point is, those Nalandas, the Sanskrit scholar, you see, their writing is really immense help. You see, to get clearer sort of understanding or understanding about concept of Four Noble Truth or anathema theory, and through that way, even you see the possibility of final destination, Buddhahood. Thinking this is reasoning, then you feel, something very possible. Otherwise, Buddhahood, okay, wonderful. Which is the basis of Buddha? Which is the ultimate source of Buddha? Here. Now here, the Tantraya